First, I want to thank all of you guys for coming tonight. We really appreciate it. It's a very important topic. Glenville has really been leading the way in Greenwich as far as bolstering food allergy awareness, so we're really happy that you guys could come tonight. I am going to turn it over to my co-president, who will be our returning president next year, to introduce our wonderful speakers, and thanks again for coming.
We had quorum. That's the biggest excitement of the night. I know. So I'm Lisa Sylvester. I'm the co-PTA president with Ann, and this allergy awareness topic has been very near and dear to my heart for quite some time because I have two kids that have life-threatening food allergies. So when I had talked to Ann at the beginning of the year about having this topic, we decided to run with it, and then Abby and Greg came on board and totally ran with it. So now we have this amazing night ahead of you. Audrey Brigante from Fairfield County Allergy and Asthma is going to be speaking. Carolyn Cornelius, our school nurse, and Sandi Kornblum, who a food allergy coach. So we have lots of fun, exciting things for everybody tonight. So sit tight, and here we go.
I'm going to start just by kind of explaining the term food allergy coach because a lot of people are not familiar with it. Basically what I do is I help families and individuals with food allergies manage their food allergies with confidence so that they can live a full, happy, unrestricted life. I offer emotional support and practical guidance to the families. I'm here tonight really to talk to you as how you as community members can help to keep the food allergic children in your community safe, whether they're friends of your children or classmates of your children. So the first three takeaways I want to go over tonight are points that are often misunderstood or not really clear to some people, and some of it's been covered tonight already, so I'll go somewhat quickly. Cross-contamination, it can happen with a very, very, very small trace of a food. It can be present on an object, it can be present in saliva, and that's all it takes. It could be accidentally on another food, and that's all it takes for someone to have a possible life-threatening allergy, and that's why it's so important. So for example, you order a salad in a restaurant, and you order it without nuts, but it comes with nuts on the salad, they have to make a brand new salad. They can't take the nuts off and give you that same salad. That salad is now contaminated. If you're in your own kitchen and you're stirring mashed potatoes and you take that spoon from the mashed potatoes and put it in your bowl of pasta, you've now contaminated that pasta with milk. Okay, so that's how easily cross-contamination can occur. The labeling laws. The labeling laws state that if a food product has one of the top 8 allergens in it, it must be declared on the label. Okay, these may contain, made in a facility, may be processed with. All of these other labels are all voluntary on the part of the food allergy, part of the food companies. So, if an advisory label is not on the label, it doesn't mean that food can't be cross-contaminated. It's often misunderstood. So it's really important to label check every purchase. Even if you're buying a box of cookies that it's the 89th time you're in the grocery store buying that box of cookies, it's really important to check it. Ingredient labels do change. Factories change their recipes or change their ingredients. So you can't assume because you bought it last week, it's safe this week. And hand sanitizers, you probably all gotten the message by now that soap and water is best. The hand sanitizers do not remove the food allergens and the proteins. Okay. If you ask a child with a food allergy or a teenager, what's the worst part of having a food allergy? One of the answers that you'll get is them feeling left out, that they feel socially isolated in certain circumstances. So when you are hosting a food allergy child in your home, there are several steps you can take to make sure that you have a safe environment and you minimize the risk to this child. So the first thing is to talk to the parents. Most likely the food allergy parent will come to you before you come to them, because that's just how we think. But they would totally appreciate it if you go to them and ask the questions. What is the child's allergies? What's their medication? Where is the medication? How do I use it? What do I do in case of an allergic reaction? Have the contact numbers, the emergency contact numbers of the parents. It's important for a food allergy parent to have a comfort level when we're leaving our children in your care, but it's also important for you to have a comfort level when you're taking care of that child. So it goes both ways, and the food allergy parent wants to make sure that you're comfortable, because they don't want to be anxious about leaving their child in your care if you're uncomfortable with it, okay? And it's really important, if a child's old enough to be dropped off at your home, that doesn't automatically mean that they're capable of taking care of themselves and their allergy. So, like Audrey touched upon, it really does depend on maturity of the child. You may have a 8-year-old over that is very self-sufficient, but you may have a 12-year-old over who really is unsure and doesn't handle him or herself as very well with their allergies. So just because they're of drop-off age does not mean that they know exactly what's happening and that they'll always make the right choice or the right decision. As far as snacks, have them planned out and parent approved ahead of time. It will make your life much, much easier. Ask for suggestions or help from the food allergy parent if you need it, okay? We appreciate that. That shows your dedication to helping to keep that food allergy child safe. If you're uncomfortable with serving the child, ask the food allergy parent to supply snacks for the play date, for the sleepover. I'm sure they would be more than happy to do so, to know that you're serving something that's safe and something that all the children can have. That goes for if you're hosting a birthday party too, and you find that you would feel more comfortable having the parent stay, invite them to stay. They'd be happy to, I'm sure. So by planning the food out ahead of time, you're reducing your workload and you're reducing your own anxiety. When you're preparing the food as well, you want to make sure your hands are clean, you've cleaned all the surfaces in your kitchen, you want to make sure you're using clean utensils. You don't want to use a surface where you maybe just made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich or poured a glass of milk, because there could be contamination there. I recommend that, if possible, before you're hosting a food allergy child, if you're able to avoid that particular child's allergens for the day or two before they come over, which is not always possible, but if you can, that's a really clever idea as well. Be sure to check all the areas in your home where you permit food. Some people let their kids eat in their basement or in their playroom. Check out those areas, vacuum those areas, make sure there isn't any leftover food from yesterday or food that got stored somewhere by mistake that's kind of been hanging out there. Okay, so these are some of my kind of cardinal rules for having somebody over for a play date or a sleepover. Don't focus on the food. We tend to, all the events we go to and our life is so centered around food. Try to center it around the friendship that the children have and the fun the children are going to have while they're playing. Yes, they're going to want a snack, but try not to make that the focal point, if possible. No food sharing. Food allergy children are trained not to eat, not to share food with others during lunchtime at school and things like that. Talk to your children, if they don't have food allergies, about the importance of not sharing their food with their food allergic friend. When in doubt, say no. If you have a child at your home that sees something that they really want and you're just not sure if it's safe, always please err on the side of caution. Always, always. The next one I say is respect a food allergy child's no thank you. Even if you know and you've checked with their parent and you know the snack you're giving them is safe, the child might just not want that specific food for whatever reason. And a lot of times they just go with their gut. They're taught to be conservative. So don't take it personally, don't be offended, but just accept their no thank you. One more thing I want to point out is, I think we've covered cross-contamination enough tonight. I'm not going to spend any more time on that. Pet food. If you have a pet in your home, some pet food does contain some of the top food allergens. Kids like to play with pets usually when they go to somebody's home, so it's something just to check out and know whether your pet food does contain anything that might be dangerous to the child that you're hosting. This is a study that just came out in February from the American Academy of Allergy and Asthma and Immunology that was presented, and it has to do with the EpiPens for School program, where you heard Carolyn talk about stock epinephrine that schools have for children that have the unknown allergies and may have a reaction in school for the first time. So this is just some information. 900 of the schools that responded to the study, 919 anaphylactic events were reported by 11% of the schools. So 89% of the events occurred in students, which 22% of those had no known allergies. And 62% of those were caused by food. So I just thought this was interesting and worth taking a couple minutes to read and look at, because we often, when we talk about food allergy children in school, we don't think about the children who are undiagnosed. So now I'm going to talk about school a little bit. I strongly encourage non-food celebrations. There are many school districts who won't go that route, but if possible, and also if you're hosting a birthday party, it's great to consider a non-food goodie bag if possible. I think we're all trying to combat all the sugar and all the fat in our children's diet, and that's a great way to be a little bit healthier by filling it up with some toys or things. At school celebrations, like Carolyn said, a lot of the food allergy children have an ice pop or they have their own special cupcake. And that's a lot of times where the children feel left out because the whole class is eating this cupcake and they're not. So if there's any way to include those children, it's a great idea to have a non-food celebration. And some of the ideas to consider are buying a book or a game that you can bring in and share with the class and play during the party time, and then leave it in the classroom for the children to enjoy throughout the year. And it's kind of something that was given to the class in honor of Johnny's birthday or in honor of Sally's birthday, and it's just kind of a nice thing to have in the classroom throughout the year. Another great idea is to bring in a craft project. Maybe it's a pillowcase or a t-shirt or a picture frame that all the children in the class can sign to the birthday child, and they can bring it home. And then they have this memento of having celebrated their birthday in second grade with everybody in their class. It's just another alternative. My last idea I'm going to throw out there is a treasure chest. And this is something your child at home could do, or you could do it during the party time. Bring in a box, have the box be decorated, and then fill it with all these different things from the dollar store, and let the children take turns picking out treats. So they're going home with all these treats instead of going home having eaten a cupcake that day. I personally like to think about how much all the children would enjoy these types of celebrations over having another cupcake during the year. And as a parent would appreciate it from a health perspective as well. Okay, really quickly, packing a safe snack in a pinch. If you're in a rush, you're packing a quick lunch, natural and fresh is always the best way to go, right? Not only to avoid the processed foods, but also especially for food allergy children. If it's something that you're bringing into school, if you have to cut the watermelon at home, for example, again, make sure it's with clean utensils. It's not in a contaminated area. If all the children are going to be eating that food. And again, teach your children not to share with his or her food allergy friend. That onus really is on the child who has the food allergy, but you want to educate your own children about it as well. And the website I put on the bottom, Snack Safely, is a website that has been added as a resource to your own school website, and it lists, and it has an extensive list of snacks that are free of peanuts, tree nuts, and eggs. That clearly doesn't cover all of the allergies that our children have. However, it is a good starting point, and I highly recommend that you do check that out.